Thinking all the way back to the very beginning of what we talked about, all of these applications that we've just gone through, every form of these recovery, what are they? What are those? What are those? What are every one of those forms of recovery? What actually is it? It's a stressor. And here's another thing you will never hear in the industry. I haven't heard this, and this is such a passion of mine, and I've been doing this for 15 years, and I've been going through so much information and so much research, and there's so much more to learn. But every one of those, they're not wrong. They're all great. They all can be helpful. But how do you know? How do you know that what you're doing is actually working and actually promoting recovery to a recovered state and not just adding more stress to the system? That's the biggest question. Because we have a course. So a lot of this information is in an online course we just launched. It's called Readiness and Recovery Training. And we go over all this stuff. We go through applications. We go through everything. And we've done two live courses with this now. And what's always great is when I get to this kind of section in the live course and I start talking about how all of the recovery strategies that are out there, it doesn't matter what they are, because they're sensations that causes stress to the body. We're told they're recovery. So if you do them, people are under the assumption that if I do that, I'm going to get recovered. That's not true. If you do that, depending on how you do it, you might help promote recovery, but it does not mean you're going to get recovered from doing those. They're just stress to the body. It's not bad, but it depends on how much you do and what you're doing with it. So when I get to this section, there's always people in the live course who, and I'll use one guy as an example because it was the perfect, raise their hand. Oh, no wonder. And I was like, no wonder what? He goes, I have recovery days. And he says, on my recovery day, I do foam rolling, and then I do I go to a sauna, and then I do a hot tub and a cold plunge. And he said, when I finish, I actually feel worse than when I started. And that's totally true. And I would expect that because you're doing too much. More is not better. The right amount is better. So if we don't know how stressed we are and we don't know how much recovery we're getting, then what are we doing? So we need much more understanding of what recovery is. And just because the industry labels something as a recovery agent does not mean you're going to get recovered. And it doesn't even mean that it's actually going to help you get recovery because it depends on how much you're doing. So these are things that are vitally important to understand as we start talking about recovery, training results, increasing performance, whatever it is that you're trying to do. So remember, every one of those is a form of stress. It is a stressor to your system.